On Monday, August 1st, oh my goodness, it's August, and it is 6:36 p.m. So for public record, the board was meeting with their legal counsel. It is collectively referred to as a non-meeting, so they were discussing some legal issues that are not public at the moment. So that's why we're a few minutes late. Okay, approval of minutes. We have really one set of regular minutes. The board did meet on July 29th, but again, those minutes are sealed. They have contractual related information. So it's really just the meeting of July 25th.
I didn't have any of that,
I made a few non-substantive edits to clarify
My balls.
that we were posting the notice from whatever on the wall. It was just the semantics of it that I changed. And the other one was, let me see if I can find it.
Did you do it this morning, Wednesday?
No, this afternoon. I did it this afternoon.
And that's when I was.
Yeah. Usually I try to get them before, but it just
That
doesn't
was
happen.
around 3-ish?
Yeah.
Okay, so you probably had already made your edits then, so it seems fine to me, so.
I can find it readily. Oh, it had to do with Jody's comment about our budget report. And so again, for clarity, it said, S. Hewitt responded that only expended monies appear in the budget report, that purchase orders are not encumbrances. Well, they are encumbrances. So I changed that to say, only expended monies appear in the budget report, that purchase orders are encumbrances and not expenses. So, I mean, there is a legal obligation associated with purchase orders, so it is sort of a legal encumbrance, or however one articulates that. And the other one, again, was just about the posting there. All right, so we're good with by consensus, we're okay with those changes? Okay, super. Community input. Do I have the right? No, I don't. I do not have the right one. Okay, let me get rid of the minutes. I'm sorry, I was looking at minutes. All right, community input. Sir, did you have?
Yeah, well, should I come up, sit down, or just?
Yes, come
Well, I
right
mean,
up
I don't
to
have
the
to, but if
table.
that's
That's where, we like you closer, so, you hear us, we hear you.
My name's Chuck Massey. I'm a non-resident property owner, taxpayer in Rollinsford. The reason I'm here is the park down under the river, down under the bridge by the river.
Yes, by the railroad tracks?
Yeah, dog feces everywhere constantly. I've been bringing my dog down there to swim, my old dog, because it's hot weather, like every day for the last couple of weeks, and it's everywhere.
By the boat landing?
Yeah, I saw children, they were wearing their swimming shoes, but they were actually stepping in it. And it's, everybody knows it's a health issue. Years ago, there used to be a sign on the bridge going in Rollinsford, drinking water protection area, which leads me, I used to have 2 dogs, and I used to walk down that road all the time, and it got to the point where you'd have to watch when you were walking because you were stepping in it. I mentioned it on 3 different times to each selectman informally, just when I happened to run into them, Mr. Jansen, Nathan Leach, and Karen.
Oh, yeah.
Patrick. And, nothing was done. I actually had some signs that I put up myself. I had them on my property, I had some left over. They were laminated plastic, and I posted them down there. And at the time, I was walking down there every day. And they lasted about a month and a half, 2 months before somebody took them down. But I actually noticed that it didn't solve the problem, but it improved it greatly, just having some signage there. I noticed down behind the plant, the old factory down there, they have a kiosk with bags by the river. Down at the American Legion, they have signage. I didn't notice any kiosks there. And actually last week, I brought my own pooper scooper and 5-gallon bucket and cleaned up down at the park.
Do we have an ordinance, Chief?
We do.
Oh, yeah.
And
We do have a hookah scoop ordinance, yes.
it's kind of thing where I walk my dog everywhere for 11 years, and as far as the poop issue, I don't think people, you have to really try to make them do the right thing. You have to provide them bags and a place to put them, otherwise, very few people are gonna bring their own bag, pick it up, put it in their car and bring it out of there. I do, but I don't think many other people are gonna,
And actually, we stop walking our dogs anyway for that, one of the very reasons actually. Most of the people coming into the park are coming across from the South Berwick side of the river.
Yeah, there are a lot of non-residents,
Yeah,
I just see
and
from the car.
I love
They
dogs.
never walk out with bags, that's for sure.
People should have a place to walk their dogs, but, so it goes in, who's responsible? Everybody's obviously responsible for their own dog for picking up after them. That's the person's responsibility. But you have to kind of lead them by the hand by maybe providing a sign or some kiosk with bags with a little, I know it costs money, but people aren't gonna do the right thing unless you,
Give them some encouragements on, it's also, what you haven't mentioned yet is that from Salmon Falls is an impaired river, and as a town with an MS4 permit, we should be displaying some sensitivity to the fact that all of that dog poop is, disintegrating and possibly leaching into the river. So that's another reason too. It just adds to the rationale for trying to do that. Tamara?
I just want to say that I walk and hike all through there a lot, and I love the idea of having the bags, but if you're going to have the bags, have a can. And then
That's
someone,
right.
because I'm going to tell you straight up what people will do with the bags.
well, yeah, everybody's seeing
And I
those,
see it everywhere, in the trees, over the lines, in the bushes, and I would rather have dog poop be loose where it can break down than be in a bag and have somebody throw it in the woods. So if you provide this receptacle
Yep.
with the bags, then we get into the issue of who will empty it.
Who
And
empties
that's
it,
always
yeah.
been the discussion in the past, it's like, who's going to take responsibility for
well,
that?
which leads into my next thing, that, people are responsible for it, but they have to be led by the hand, so who's responsible after that? It seems to me the town to make sure it's empty. And those kiosks, everybody's seen them, they have the bags with the
Yeah,
little thing.
it's a
But
great,
you're right,
it's a
they
great
have to be-
system.
They have to be.
But you can't have just the bags.
Yeah,
It has to
no,
be
you have
both.
to have thought through the whole thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, good advice.
Years ago, they actually had trash can down there, and it was always overflowing, and people were bringing in, so, and it either it was abused, probably a combination of not being empty enough and being abused by the public,
well, it
just-
was also a big attractor of critters. There were raccoons and
yeah.
skunks, and that was a big part of the issue with those cans.
but
Okay,
Anyway, so that,
well, I appreciate you bringing this concern to us.
and one other brief issue, I live on Clement Road, and then I drive down it every way, and as you're heading towards Rollinsford on the right, towards the end, for the last year, there was a big ditch in right next to the shoulder, and I told myself constantly, God, somebody's gonna hit that and roll right over. But anyway, miraculously, within the last 3 weeks, it was filled in, which is great, but in the last couple of weeks, heavy rain, thunderstorms, it started to erode again. But
Did we fill that?
Yes.
yes,
On
Yes.
Rollins
Yes,
Road?
Jeff.
on
Clement.
Clement Road,
Yeah,
Or the corner of Rollins,
Yeah.
Yeah.
across the street
Yeah.
from.
yeah,
know,
Mike, Mike and Jeff there, and they tamped it down, but
but it is starting to erode. I've been on my mind every time I drove by it, but it's, it's good they filled it in, you needed it, but somebody should keep an eye on it because it's starting to erode already.
Are you talking about Clement or Rollins?
Clement,
Clement
Near,
is
near
where
yeah, right
we asked
now.
him to
Rollins
fill in, and he said, remember, it always washes away, and I said, "Well, please fill it in.
Yeah,
Anyway,
well, we can talk to him too about more permanent
Thicker
situations.
gravel.
we'll just keep an eye on this.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Well, thank you very much, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
We need your
I
name.
didn't get your name,
yeah, Chuck Massey, M-A-S-I,
Emilius,
Yeah.
Doug.
or Chuck, Charlie,
Chuck.
Charlie Chuck.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other community input? Okay, then we'll go right to department heads. I see only one.
All right, lucky me.
Who are you?
Okay. The adjuster from Primex with the vehicle and submitted his report. I forwarded that to Caroline. So at this point, I was looking for permission from the board to get that car repaired. I don't imagine it's going to be repaired until we get the the new Explorer on the road. This way I won't be on two vehicles. But Roger's estimate is at $1,436.10. And then we're looking at Wayne Shalou Custom World in Somersworth for just under $200 to replace the striping on the back of the car. So the question at this point is, where does the money come from?
So, by the nature of the question, I'm guessing not from the police budget. Can you give us a week to look over the budget if it's not coming from the police? And then we'll see, there's some, as the board will hear later in the evening, so, you know, we're also gonna be talking about, this building and the report from Steve Height. So, which will also cause us to see if we can scour the budget. So I'm hoping that we can get the final invoice from Bear Road. That will be a good thing to have, that piece of finality. And that coupled with this and what we're going to hear from Steve Height, I think will allow us to figure out, you know, how to juggle the, you know, some of these big things for the remainder of the year. So if you can give us a week, possibly two.
Yeah, we're in no hurry.
Okay.
So, I mean, we can still drive.
It's drivable,
So
okay,
we just have to watch the trunk, there's a trunk semantics. So.
yeah. I mean, is the board okay with that proposition?
Oh,
Yeah, okay. So,
You can manage it.
1,600, that will be helpful as I look through the budget.
Okay, I have purchase order number 797 to Portsmouth Ford. Last week, the check engine light came on, sent it over to Dover, and they said it was a Ford issue. And after they diagnosed it, they said that we needed to replace the evap purge valve for the fuel system. And that's $219.35, that will come out of line item number 707, vehicle repairs.
Yeah, we'll put order number 797 to Portsmouth Ford for repairs. For diagnostic and replace the evap purge valve for $219.35.
second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yeah. I can't tear it down though. It's,
Oh, maybe not.
yeah, thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, purchase order number 796 made out to WatchGuard, the camera in the Cruiser 74, the new Explorer, stopped working. We had it pulled out and sent it down to Texas. The last time they had to do a repair, it was a in-house memory issue. It was just under $400, so I've estimated this repair for $400. And that will come out of line item number 287, radio repair. Once we find out, I'll have a better figure once we find out, when I do the diagnostics, let us know. But it shouldn't be more than $400.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's how we should be using the purchase orders. So that's perfect, thank you.
Move to accept purchase order 796 to WatchGuard for one radio. Repairs to camera cruiser 74 for $400.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
How old is the camera?
That one there is 8 years old, 8.
How much is the new camera cost?
Between 4,500 and 5,000.
Let's fix it for sure.
Good question.
Oh, just,
Looking to get the board permission to have Mr. Spinney take the stripes off the Chevy. His time would come out of our part-time officer's account.
Take the stripes
Take the
off.
striping off the old Chevy.
so we can
That's
start.
manual labor, hosing it down.
Okay.
So,
All right, at the rate of,
I'm gonna assume it's what we pay, what I'm paying my part-timers now.
okay. So you've got it in the budget? Okay. Do we, Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
Right.
This is so that we can sell it, right?
So it's good, perfect for selling it. And once that's done, we can throw it on eBay or do a Craigslist
Yeah.
or up to bid, whatever you wanna do, so.
Okay.
I met with Dick Dodier, actually, I spoke with Dick Dodier over the weekend, and I met with him today. And I sent all of you an email today, and we actually found a drain located on the exterior wall of the police station out there. And
Yeah,
originally thought,
where? You
when you're
described-
looking at the front door of the police department,
That's, you call that the front door,
right over here, yeah. And on the right, you have the generator building.
Okay,
In that little alcove in the middle there,
yeah,
right next to the building, he put a drain in there. And it's only meant to catch the water coming off the roofs, from the main roof and off the addition that they put on. It goes in that spot, and that drains out to the catch basin that we found over here in front of the police department garage. There is no drain on the inside. All he recalls doing on the inside was just tearing out all the old cement and putting some gravel in there and some new cement in there.
so did you include Steve Height in your response?
I did, yes.
Okay, good, because,
And I'll send it to Norman Giroux as well.
okay, he called me this morning, and now is as good a time as any, I think, to bring it up. It's on the agenda farther along, but just so that you can be apprised of what he said. So he called while I was in the, he called this morning, I was early afternoon, and he finished his pondering, as he said he was going to do, and he said that he would be writing a proposal from A to Z, soup to nuts. In other words, he would provide the engineering, the design work, the site work, survey work, whatever, write the bid document, the RFP, whatever it is, RFP. Oversee that the choosing of the, it would be our choice, but he would work with us with the bid returns. And then he would oversee the work in the sense that, you know, if an issue comes up, then he's able to respond, the engineering firm is able to respond immediately. They open something up and it's not what we expected. So the work that they would be doing would be a component outside and a component inside. The component outside is has two parts. And don't expect this to be like complete. Now, I'm spitting out what he told me this morning. He's gonna give us a document with all of this. And so outside would be what he called a footing drain, I think, around the entire building. And then another kind of drain that would be, this is why I asked if you would send in the thing from Dodier, to collect the rainwater from the roofs. So gutters going into some kind of catch basin and draining out. So I'm a little fuzzy on how that works. So he might be interested to know that something sort of kind of exists or was thought to work or something like that. So that's the exterior part. The interior part, he would pick up all of that, the concrete that's a mess, lay gravel down. I think he's gonna put another drain though. He's gonna put a drain in there. And he says, with all of that, he said, you shouldn't have any water problems ever again. So he says. Now, I asked him how many hundreds of thousands of dollars is this going to cost us, just roughly, just like for order of magnitude issue. And it's probably within, it's certainly within the CIP amount, which is $100,000. So that was comforting. I mean, in the sense that, you know.
I would've thought, yeah.
Right, as opposed, and that includes the engineering, the design work as well as.
Right, that's why I
right.
was surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you know, he was saying, you know, it shouldn't be more than 75,000. Now, he may have another, you know, when he actually starts writing these things up, he may have another change of heart, but he's talking about, that's why we have to scour the budget, because he's talking about a timeline where we do a lot of this engineering work sooner rather than later, and actually get the bids out maybe at the end of this year, knowing that, you know, it has to be with the approval of town meeting, et cetera, et cetera. But then we would know what that warrant article had to look like, you know, we wouldn't be guessing. So that's the essence of what he said. And he's going on vacation next week, so we won't hear from him for another like 2 or 3 weeks, but with, you know, a firmer idea of what he said to me over the phone today. And I don't know whether the Dodier email is going to change anything, but
Did you say that the drain was cleared out, Chief?
Yeah, it's working fine. I actually took hose to, just to check and make sure it wasn't clogged. And it's working fine. Yeah. So that drain, you know, having that drain clogged isn't the issue, it's what's holding up the water.
Right.
So how does the water from the roof get to it? I mean, how?
It just falls. There's no gutters there, on that portion of the
On
building.
that side?
On that side, so
But-
it's just naturally falling off the
Okay.
roof.
But there are other sides to the building.
Right, in the back, you have the gutter, and that goes in the drain into the ground. The one that's over here that we uncovered, that's just an open, cover, and the water just falls naturally from the two roofs
All right.
into that area and then down into the,
Well, that will be interesting for him to know
storm.
about. Maybe we'll allow him to change a bit of what he was planning. Okay,
or even tie into it possibly,
yeah,
if
I
the
know.
piping's already
Yeah,
existing, yeah.
sure, and working,
Yeah,
so,
so.
okay. Well, so that's where we are. No decision to make just yet, but I was happy to have heard from him. And that was quick, I thought. It was just last Thursday that he looked at it with us, so. So it was good.
That's all I have for you.
Are we good? I'm good. I think we're
And
good
thank you
too.
for your participation last
Thank
month.
you for having us.
Well,
He
it was-
was excited.
It was a wonderful thing, so good.
Did
I
I
was
get
excited.
it on the web?
Thank
Made
you.
it
I know it was in
Foster's.
Foster's.
Yeah, since you're busy.
Oh, thank you.
It also lights up if you have to find yourself running at nighttime, so.
Wow, that's all I can say is wow. Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
Here, take care.
How do you spell Steve Heights?
H-A-I-G-H-T, like
Okay,
Hyde
all right,
Asbury.
so then I have it
Asbury.
right.
It is, yes.
It
Big
just
Asbury.
bothered me.
He says Hyde though. He does say Hyde.
Yeah.
H-A-I-G-H-T. Stephen,
Hyde Ashbury's.
yes, yes. So, there's my agenda. Give me just a moment here. You are, myself, no other department heads. Okay, so there is, I do wanna bring something up under the highway. I haven't heard back from the water district about the Locust Street structure that they are supposed to be improving. But there's been a complaint about water runoff in the Chinburg development, the one that's on Pleasant Street, so the first one that was built. Now, who did we?
I didn't drive by there, I saw the email, did you have a chance to go over and look at it?
Yeah, Tom, no, but Tom, so,
Tom can't make it.
Tom, can't make it.
Yeah, he's on
Oh,
the
I was
email.
being too, okay, I see that now. So I think, but he had some conversation with this person. So as far as I know, he's managing on our behalf, and we'll see what comes of it. I mean, they're in touch with Chinburg, I guess, to see whether, they have any,
Right.
any liability there. So I just wanted to catch you up on that, and are there any other questions, are we all right with, okay, I wasn't gonna follow up myself, we figured Tom can be doing that on our behalf. All right, transfer station. So Caroline continues to get data, and I'm gonna meet with her this Friday, we're gonna go over some of the things, see if we can put them in any kind of a rational format for us to look at things. Maybe it'll take us a couple of go-arounds, but we will be looking at that. With regard to the sticker request, so Ed came in, well, this morning, Ed Jansen, and I asked him about that as well. So I'm recommending to us that we respond to him and say, we understand, we like recycling ourselves, but we can't give you a dump sticker, that the waste management contract says that they only accept residential waste, and that we would urge him to work with the Cutter family to work with Pinard to do the same thing, single stream recycling. I mean, Pinard's coming to do ours, at least currently, still is for a while, and, it'd be, pretty much could be on the same route. So are you good with that kind of a letter in response to him?
Thank you so much.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right, so we'll do that, we'll just make a note. stormwater, Pine Street tying into storm drain, oh, yes. All right, so when Norm Giroux, he took me aside Thursday morning, Norm was here when we were looking at the drain issue. And he took me aside and said he was working with a resident on Pine Street, 63, I'm not gonna remember. So don't reflect that in the minutes, I don't even know the resident's property owner's name. And Jeff had looked it over, and so what is happening is that stormwater is coming from Pine Street above, it's sort of collecting in his own yard, causing erosion and some other issues. And so he already has some kind of basin or something, but he wants to either make it better or whatever, and then have it drain into our storm drain. So actually connect into the storm drain that's not very far from his house. And so, that was interesting, you know, we've never had to deal with that.
It's a suggestion we've made to several people on South Street,
But,
I think, actually.
but, you know, when you come right down to thinking about it, and I asked the stormwater committee, so what do you think about this? And two people said, well, they should have an easement in the deed so that we're,
Right, so we're not
so they're,
responsible.
you know, so we're not responsible, so that they know that they need to maintain it. If something happens, then, you know, we can get back to them to have them do it. So, I don't know what such a thing would look like, so shall we ask Steve to manage this on our behalf, to write that easement? Or do we have any other comments to make on this?
Isn't Pine Street where we just put in the catch basin? Help me out here. I guess I gotta go look, I'll go look at it.
If you could,
Is
see
it
if I can
near
find a number, let me find a number.
Terrace?
Pardon?
Isn't that?
It's
Pine goes up
between,
behind-
Pine goes down to the Legion, sort of meets up with
Yeah.
Locust.
Yeah, we have that,
There are two
Yeah,
different,
but
there's two different
There,
catch basins
there
on Pine
are a
Street
lot
that
of
are-
water issues
Okay.
there, yeah.
right. We had the big one that we had to cover with the cement, that's fine. And then we had.
Yeah, I think on the other side of the street maybe.
It was the house.
Excuse me.
Going towards the region.
Right.
Yeah, it was going under the garage.
That's Pine also, yeah,
That's
so
fine
there's
also.
three issues.
That's what I mean, yeah, I'm like, are we opening up a bigger fish? Like, I wanna make sure that it's not the same home.
It's on the Legion side.
Mm-hmm.
63. So 63 Pine. It's on the Legion side, and if you look, there's white chalk marking along it. I guess that's where they had dig safe, just come see. So you can see where the storm drain is.
The issues we have were further down towards the terrace. But we also don't want to create a bigger problem, which is right. So
I have a feeling that's the same house.
when the road agent returns from vacation, we should have a conversation with them.
So we're gonna completely hold off?
Yeah.
Is that,
If, yes, at least let me drive by and do that tomorrow, because I think this is the same house with the sinkhole in the driveway.
I thought it was across the street.
I'm
What,
trying
so,
to find my
so the
notes.
Legion is on one side. Is it on the Legion side of the sinkhole?
Yes.
Oh, it is. Okay, then I don't even know where the sinkhole is.
So I think we're going to wait for
Well, it's the
Rick Check to
second
get back.
So this is,
This is not necessarily a sinkhole, this is just they're trying to tie in, they wanna divert stormwater that's currently collecting in their yard to the stormwater drain, which is fine, it's noble and whatever, but we need to make sure that it doesn't mess up anything
Right.
of ours, and so that was the suggestion with regard to
I think it's
getting something in the.
wonderful, they don't want to divert it into the road either, so.
Right, we don't want that to,
I think
yeah.
this is a good thing they're trying to do, but again, I think all the issues that have been brought up, we want to look for safety with that, I think. Maybe it's only not that long.
2 weeks.
so.
because if they're trying to tie into the catch basin that needs repairs,
Right. We don't
Then-
cause bigger problems. Right.
it'll collapse on it, or may. But this house that you're talking about is on the same side as the Legion on Pine,
What did I say, did I?
63.
63.
So Well, I would like to look.
Yeah,
at
oh,
it.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. No, no worries, I'll let Norm know. All right, street light repair, this refers to the lamp post that's going like this, across from the fire station. And, you know, DOT, state DOT says it's not their problem, Eversource says it's not their problem, they can't fix it.
It's in there right away.
All I'm telling you is what they're saying. So they'll replace the light bulb. Oh, DOT, yeah, well, they're the ones who, I mean, do you want to pursue and call somebody over there and actually ask them why they think it's not our problem? All right, then I'll let you do that.
Who are you gonna call?
Division 6, Ghostbusters, is the obvious answer. Everyone wants to shout, you know, so. I'll
Thank you,
just say it.
Michael.
Sure. All right, so, I'm sorry, I'm signing checks, so.
Yep.
I am listening, I promise. All right, I'm just trying to write down here, street light repair.
Yep.
Call 6. Why is that wrong? You got it. Maybe-
Okay.
And he or she will explain to me, and I'll come back and tell you why we're still on the hook next week. How's that?
When I was reading the minutes about, you know, when Chief Ducharme was talking to us about the SWAT team, the task force, blah, 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 and about budgeting for that, and the minutes said that we were gonna send a letter to the county commissioners. I don't remember that, and I wondered if, did one of us volunteer to send a letter to the county commissioners?
I'd be happy to send a letter to the county commissioners.
Yeah, good. I like that.
I'm gonna write it and you're gonna sign it. so-
That's okay, that would be super. All right, thank you again.
Okay, home is, it's a town SWAT,
SWAT Drug Task Force, I think it was another one.
accident reconstruction.
Is that what it was? Okay. I thought there were at least three.
There were.
Accident reconstruction.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, so that was possible. Okay.
Okay. Summer rec program, I know that the committee's trying to get together, they received, or we sent them a letter saying what we asked them to do, and they've made some changes, I think, we heard back, I don't know if they made all those changes,
We
we,
haven't heard.
An email, last week was it?
They,
Paula?
they responded back last week, but they haven't responded back this week.
Gotcha. Wasn't there an email from Kelly and then another one from Paula?
Yes,
It was all last week, whatever.
yes, I
Yeah,
thought one of
not
them
since
was
they've
in
met.
response to our email.
Yes, Kelly responded,
They both
Paula
were.
responded, they both had known that there were concerns, that they had heard things as well. But I haven't seen a response back that they've met, or are going to meet.
So what should we do then?
Ask them when they're meeting,
Pardon?
ask them when they're meeting,
They
and what
should,
changes have been implemented.
they should be,
Didn't they offered, I thought when the email to meet with us, right? Didn't they want to
Yeah, I
get
think
together with
so.
us? Trying to remember. So I'm wondering, was the next step for us to reach back out to them to recommend a time? I would assume the time to meet with us
Would be
would be
here.
right now, so.
yeah.
but I wanna just assume that.
Yeah.
You know.
So I'm not fully, I have to say, admit, I'm not fully up to date on that. I did read them, I thought they were, hold on, let's see if there's a- There is a sign in and sign out sheet. Parents sign a permission slip when they register that indicates whether or not their child is allowed to leave during the day. If the child leaves, they sign out. Children are not always dropped off and picked up by an adult. Actually, the norm is that most rec attendees walk on their own to and from rec. So it would be nice if this were the case, but this program fills the need for the parent who is left for work, leaving their child home for a short time until they walk to rec. So, I mean, there's sort of, I think what Paula is implicating is that how can they implement this change with 2 weeks to go when it's so different for parents who may not be able to comply.
Right. I guess, well,
Improvements as suggested by the board for attendance is being implemented. I don't know exactly what that means.
I think we have to go back and look at exactly what we sent them, I don't remember. So it sounds like they're making an effort, right?
They're
To
making
try
an
to
effort.
implement some of what we suggested,
Right.
not all of it, obviously.
Right,
There's 2 weeks left to go, right, or there might only be a week now?
two.
Two now, as of
Well, this one and
this
next
one,
one.
so 2 weeks. So moving forward, I think is really where,
We can effectuate the
where we
most
can
change,
effect
yeah,
the
unless,
change,
unless,
yeah.
you know, unless the board
Oh,
thinks that there's,
And Paula did mention, I think it was Paula, or it could have been Kelly, I think it was Paula mentioned that perhaps this might be the
Swan
winding
song.
down of summer rec as we know it, so. And there are larger conversations that need to happen
Right.
after, these 2 weeks are over,
Right.
so if we feel that, the remaining children are being well served and managed for the next 2 weeks, then I think we as a board have done our due diligence, but if we're not comfortable with that, with what they're telling us, then we need to figure out, I guess, what, and I don't know, I'm not making a suggestion, I'm going to say to the audience.
yeah, no,
I'm
I
sorry,
mean,
but
either.
I don't know what the next.
Either we
step is.
feel that they're, you know, it was raised their awareness, they're responding as best they can, which is not necessarily
All right.
implementing every single point in that email. So then the question is, what would the board like to do?
It says here, from Kelly, that she'd be happy to tour the program occasionally as she's in the building. She questions whether the complaints were brought to the director first. Her daughter works as a counselor and is very busy keeping the young children occupied. I too have heard grumblings and a few complaints that I wouldn't mind discussing with you and the rec committee. Just thought I'd throw my 2 cents. So they're gonna be the teachers are gonna be setting up. I don't know if they've implemented at least head counting. And even Paula mentioned that t-shirts for the counselors would have been a good idea. Obviously, I don't know if they got the shirts, like I said last week. So,
For field trips, right, there's ones
Right.
around,
yeah.
but they're not required to wear them to camp, so.
No,
you know,
no, but
so-
counselors should be in
Oh, I
shirts,
think so too.
because some of the counselors are
No,
Probably.
Right,
the same age as some of the people going, depending if they're having
Right.
any high school kids there.
right. So,
The larger conversations to be had in 3 weeks. But,
Definitely.
so I guess the
Are
question
we-
still remains, are we confident that the children are safe?
Could we send them an email and ask them what they've implemented and
yes,
please
absolutely.
respond by tomorrow night? And,
Can I say as soon as possible?
sure.
Thank you. I mean, these are volunteers, you don't know when they're gonna
Right.
see this email,
Right.
so.
And, well, they probably have it, but I don't have
I mean, they may feel that they've already answered our question,
Right.
so, you know, just so our board understands what you're saying. You know, you said you have initiated some of the changes we suggested. Can you just let us know what they are, so we can respond in kind to the people that have, made the complaints, so. And then we also have peace of mind too.
All right, I would be happy to do that. Anything else that we might wanna say about that?
I mean, my neighbors send their daughter, she's 6 and that she walks up to it, which blows my mind, but anyways.
Yeah, apparently that's.
it is what it is, so-
Yeah,
And they're act as clans with it, they think
Yeah.
it's the best, they understand what it is, and it's not, a full program. I don't have any experience with it personally, so I don't know, but from 1 parent, 2 parents rather, they seem pretty pleased with what they were getting, for what they're paying, so I don't know, whatever that's worth.
okay, so we'll send that follow-up letter? Send that, okay. Thank you. It's a tricky piece to be in,
Exactly.
but, we'll, again, awareness has been raised and
Mm-hmm.
these last 2 weeks will be as safe as the first four, I don't know however many there are, and then we'll plot out what we do going forward. Jesse Doe land sale, so this particular agenda item, actually, we did take care of it in the, because there is legal counsel associated with this. And so we don't have to spend any time on it. Our legal counsel is gonna provide some assistance to, at least from a process point of view, if nothing else, to the other abutters and the other people associated in the sale, the saleers.
There's no charge to the town.
There's no, yeah, right, with absolutely no charge to the town. So, and the board doesn't see conflict of interest, so it's fine for Attorney Roberts' firm to handle this, we think. So there is a Clement Road Zoning Board of Adjustment hearing on Thursday, August 18th, having to do with a piece of property on Clement Road, which is they're trying to subdivide land, and subdivision would cause a plot to be non-conforming in two ways, which is my understanding. One would be the road frontage required, which is 89 feet, I think. And it has to be, for that zone, it has to be at least 80% of the required width of standard width, which is 200. So they would need 180 feet, so they're not even close. And then also in that zone, the width has to be 180, has to be 200 feet, at least somewhere within that plot, and it's nowhere. So those are two issues. And so, I'm not gonna be available on the 18th, but I wondered if the board wanted to take a position and go to the zoning board and make a case.
Might make sense. Now, the applicants have a preliminary consultation with the planning board tomorrow night. Wondering why they were on the agenda for the planning board before they go to the ZBA. It's only a preliminary consultation. So I'll be sitting through that conversation. We'll have more details next week.
Well, how does the board
In
feel
advance.
about,
I mean, I'm concerned that they don't meet two of the most important requirements personally, but, I mean, I wanna hear a little more detail,
yes.
so.
So, I mean, there are points that should be followed when a variance is, so I think at minimum, we ought to be hewing to those points, point by point in the zoning board. And I'm a little concerned, I don't know this for sure, just, and hearsay is not sufficient to make a firm judgment, but we should encourage the zoning board to actually address those point by point issues as other municipalities do.
Yes.
And the only other thing to sort of remember is any hardship surrounding that lack of frontage was actually introduced by them when they built a home on part of it.
Yes.
So it's not they've
They've created their own hardship.
Except they've created their own hardship.
Which, actually, it's funny, I've been looking for a different case that we're dealing with. And it actually states quite clearly that if you create your own hardship, that you don't qualify for a hardship. The state law is pretty clear, so
Yes,
I think that should be certainly brought
So-
up to the ZBA, I mean, because there has been a trend, hardships are granted, and aren't necessarily a hardship present, so,
or not addressed.
or not addressed at all, sure.
All right, so, I mean, is the board sort of in agreement with that general philosophy, or, Jody, is there something you might like to say about all of this?
No.
Okay. Then, if you could just sort of bring,
Well, I'm gonna listen tomorrow,
Yeah,
and then the
yeah.
following week I'll bring back a report from what happened. To this
Okay.
board, then we can have another conversation. for
Before the
18th, right?
okay, that sounds
18th is
perfect. It's a Thursday.
Thursday night.
Yeah.
Having said that, I would like to go and represent us, let me just make sure I'm actually available. Should be, yes. What time are they meeting, do you know?
I think they usually meet at 7, but I'm not really sure. I doubt it would be any earlier than 6:30, but I
Seven
certainly do
AM
not know.
breakfast meeting in Concord, so I should be free.
Should be.
Put it in my calendar
You want me to go on or do you want?
now. No, please, I just don't want you to think I'm rude and putting it in my calendar, so I don't forget.
All right, town hall repairs, we talked about the drainage issue, and I asked Caroline if there was any movement on getting quotes for the siding. And so we have one, and Richard is just not able to get this other contractor to respond. So he's going to go to someone else, and just to get another quote, just for reasonableness, so we have at least two to look at. And I said, you know, as soon as possible, because, you know, we've got, you know, this is one of the issues that we're trying to get some clarity on so that we can make other kinds of decisions, so. Okay, town cleanup day, so we did agree last week to support October 1st. I think it's, I said 9 to 11, I believe it's, the garden club is going to do 9 to 12 as a town cleanup day. That prompted Salmi at the end of the meeting to say, well, can we do the upstairs? Can we get some people to do upstairs? And we said, yes, that's as long as we get confirmation that it would be okay to have a certain number of people up there working. But it prompted me to feel the need to have somebody who would sort of oversee that, it's gotten just a little bit bigger with that upstairs, kind of oversee it on our behalf and report to us.
Yeah.
And so I wondered if we would like to ask Salme to do that on our behalf. To sort of,
I thought you weren't gonna be here that day, yeah.
I'm not gonna be here that day.
but she's gonna be you could help organize it, right? It's
I
not-
can meet with people prior to that and
So I'll send out a,
perhaps find a point person.
So
for
if that
upstairs.
couldn't happen,
what?
if that couldn't happen upstairs,
Yes.
what if also in the spirit of town cleanup day, we had folks come and volunteer and clean up the, at least the front of the entranceway to the town hall, where there's chip paint and maybe repaint the columns out front or something. Yeah. People are smiling at me like I'm crazy.
Well, no, so my question is, okay, who would oversee that? Who would oversee the painting of that and organize it? I mean,
Just put on my calendar, October 1st is town cleanup day, so.
mhm. I mean, so, and the reason I'm saying that is the trails, the nature trails will be on there, and Becky
Yep.
Wright from the kindergarten is the, sort of the team leader of that.
Okay.
For garden maintenance and bed maintenance, Michelle Small would oversee whoever comes to help with that.
Yeah.
Kate, I assume, would be doing Cross Street, that's what she did last year, but you can verify that. And Salme will, up until she can't, and we'll have somebody who's managing that. So
Okay.
somebody has to be thinking about, you know, what do the people need, what do I have to get for tools, and all that sort of thing. And so, if you would like to do that, that would be great, but somebody has to like make sure that whatever team responds, how many people you need,
All right.
what do they need for equipment, what, you know, that sort of thing. So,
We need to get paint over there too.
yes, so do you wanna think about that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I was kind of volunteering to
If
help
you,
with that if upstairs doesn't work, so. I'm happy to be upstairs if it doesn't work, okay. But I'm happy to be on site upstairs instead.
well, then he might be your point person for upstairs. He'd be perfect, cause he would know about things that maybe historically shouldn't be,
Yes.
should be,
Kate, by the way,
yes.
has a list of all the documents that have to
Does
be
she have a
kept
retention?
legally.
Right, I think
Yes,
most
and
of
for
what's
how
there-
long.
Good.
I think most of what's up there is that, isn't it?
Oh, yeah,
So
they are.
I would feel
In a
really
jumbled
comfortable
mess.
if,
it's not necessarily some of the more historic documents.
possibly not, but it would be good to ensure, you know what I mean, Mike?
No, no, I know.
And you would,
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
you'd be well positioned to
And I would feel safer with
exert judge.
non-volunteers, because you would need scaffolding to get to those pillars, to the top of the
I
pillars.
think.
So,
Oh, down here.
Oh, if we did the
Yeah.
painting. Yeah, that might be a bigger,
I don't want anybody volunteer day or all that.
Oh, prisoners can do it. That's better.
so Michael, will you
Maybe
be our
follows the
point
county
person
as
for
well.
the upstairs?
Sure.
All right, then that's perfect. But I mean, it's a good project,
Yeah.
but
and I can be here after 10.
Bring it back.
But I have soccer till 10.
Bring your shop back if anyone wants to volunteer.
Oh, we have plenty of people to vote.
You need,
Multiple ones. It's a lot of dirt and grime up there.
oh, well,
Half the time it's gonna be just cleaning the room.
Should we get
A quarter of the time we'll be actually moving the boxes, I would think. But
yeah, I would say, get a, a bite that's achievable, right,
a dumpster?
for this time around.
we have a
I can
historical
bring them.
committee meeting on Thursday night.
That would be a perfect thing to kind
I
of,
think that'd be some great people to Shanghai
Yeah.
into helping with the project. I mean, ask to volunteer.
they're not kidding.
Can I ask a question about that upstairs, even though it's not the right time?
Sure,
A huge amount of what's up there is from the police department,
I saw that.
and before
Seats from the,
you start cleaning it, I think, I'm just gonna say proactively, if I were approaching this project, I would try to get everything kind of visually understood as to what belongs to whom.
Oh, no, this is just one
I think the
small room.
first,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a bounded problem. They're just working on some of there's a little room with records.
Okay,
And they're
That's
trying
right.
to get that in order and put filing, there are some filing cabinets that are empty that are up there, so they can move the filing cabinets into
okay, I
this
thought you were
room.
talking about the whole room.
Oh, the whole.
No, that's why I said,
I'm not
this
volunteering
is
to
a
clean the
bite,
entire
this
upstairs.
is a small bite of the elephant.
Okay,
Yes, it's
Got
very
it.
small.
Yeah,
Toenail.
okay. We haven't heard anything back for Salmon Falls Family Fund, they'll have to send a follow-up, so there's nothing there. Personnel, so so I listened to the board last week, and I let go my love of simplicity, and, and left in and made clearer the fact that we are giving holiday, sick leave, and annual leave benefits to employees who work at least 15 hours a week.
Mhm.
That's pretty much what it says. And I calculated how much that would cost. The only cost issue, other than loss of productivity, the only actual money out the door is termination for people who have annual leave. And we're bounding that now, we're bounding that to, you have to use it within 18 months, so it's not endless. And so I don't know if you had a chance to look at it, so I looked at some calculations. So attended with that, with those changes, they're not changes, they're clarifications to what I think the board had wanted to do originally, is, and I've made a note in my budget prep notes that we should have a line that says, under personnel administration, termination payout or whatever it says.
Yeah.
And we should put a few thousand in there, we'll see what that is. So that way, if someone leaves, we can use that, and if it doesn't cover it completely, at least it will be a step towards it. And it would either come from the department's budget or contingency or wherever, but we need to be mindful then of that.
Yes, I remember my first year, we were handed a rather large, I recall, several thousand.
$3,500
Um,
for a 16-hour-a-week person, at least I was told she was 16 hours.
yeah, so, that's an issue that I hope we will resolve, and I think we are. But, so, I'm not certain though, that, okay, so we will move forward, fine, and we will do this bio. But moving forward, we won't have, I wanna make sure everyone's clear, we won't have this issue again, because 16-hour employees shouldn't, I mean, we can give them, because we've made a deal with the current employees that they'll have vacation time, that sort of thing, but I'm not interested in doing bios for 16-hour employees either, ever again. I mean, it had to be at least half-time, I would think, or full-time to get that benefit. I mean, where I work, you certainly wouldn't get that if you work 16 hours a week, so we just wanna make sure we're not gonna be doing this over again.
You've
so-
got me confused, I'm confused now.
Okay.
So, we have agreed with regard to sick leave,
Mhm.
we made that agreement, we're not, there is no there is no buyback
Correct,
for sick leave,
correct.
ever again. We've got some people who currently have sick leave, so we have to
Right.
figure out how to manage that, right?
Mhm.
but we pretty much agreed that.
Yes.
That's not the issue. The
Right.
issue is, last week, I'd said, I was looking, again, for clarity and for ease of figuring all of this stuff, that we wouldn't give annual leave, vacation, whatever you call it, to folks who only worked, we didn't work 20 hours a week.
Right.
And the
And I'm
board
of
was,
the
the
opinion
board
that
was
they should at
unwilling,
least get that because we've been doing that for them.
the board was
Yes.
unwilling to do that, so,
Yes.
but vacation is the one that piles up, so vacation actually has the payout.
Mhm.
So I wanted to calculate what we were in for, so
Mhm.
for like an $11 a week, $11 an hour person, like currently like a transfer station attendant, who was here 15 years or more, the payout would be, $1,300.
Mhm.
Okay, if we're talking about, let's say, $25 a week, $25 an hour, sorry, person, who had been here 15 years or more, that's $5,600.
Okay.
So I just wanted the board to be clear about what we were doing. Now, we don't actually have anybody who makes that amount of pay. Oh, and I asked about police. And I haven't exactly taken you through the changes that I've made to the document, but remember we had a description for a per diem employee? I've put it back in there to describe the part-time police officers, because they are at will. They're not regularly scheduled,
Right.
and so the best way to describe them, I thought, was per diem. And I actually put that at, for example, the police officers.
Our part-time officers aren't eligible for the retirement system.
Not these, not these at will, they get no benefits, and the personnel policy said that right now, and Bob confirmed that this morning, so I made that clear. So the only part-time police officer who is regularly scheduled would be Chief Ducharme himself. So he would fall under this, if he were to have the maximum number of I mean, again, we're talking about maximum, so if somebody's been here 15 years or more, has saved the maximum number of annual leave days, that's what, and makes, well, in this case, $25 an hour, then we're responsible for $5,600
After 25 years of service, that was it?
after
Or
15 or
$25?
more, at that position,
Right.
right, at that position. So if you take a look at if you haven't taken a look at the personnel document, I would encourage you to look at it, look for the yellow highlights. There you go. So the changes are, if you've got it, I'll
Yeah.
walk through them. Are you starting at the beginning?
Well, that's,
Yes, so the first one is the per diem. So we've added that per diem, and it says, shall mean those employees who shall be paid an hourly rate for time actually worked on an on-call basis, with no expectation of continuing employment and with no benefits other than federally and state mandated benefits. Part-time police officers are an example of a per diem employee. And then, thank you. The other change has to do with health. So we're going to cross out the sentence, I'm suggesting we cross out the sentence that says, we will provide the following health and dental coverages for all full-time employees, to replace it with, we will provide health insurance to all full-time employees with town employee shares outlined in the document, health insurance coverage and town employee share of health insurance coverage. This will allow the board to provide an annual review and update of both the coverage and of the respective shares without having to go through the whole falderall of amending the document. So there would be a separate addendum that we would update potentially yearly. So that's just kind of taking this out and putting it in a different space. Okay.
I was just being thick, I'm sorry, I was thinking sick time, and for some reason, instead of vacation time, annual leave time, provide it, so.
So you're okay that
I'm
we're.
sorry to have wasted your
No, no,
time,
it's okay.
everyone watching at home.
We're okay then with assuming that.
Yes,
okay.
I'm just having a very.
All right, that's all right, listen, not to worry, believe me, happens to me. Okay,
continue?
so health, we're not really making changes other than we're gonna
Right.
pull it out and refer to it. So now, then there's the paragraph about sick leave. I think it's sick leave, no, holiday pay, sorry, it's holiday pay. full-time employees and part-time employees who work at least 15 hours per week will be compensated for holidays. That's what we want, right?
Yes.
Okay. So holiday compensation for part-time employees who work at least, Lisa, do you have editing capabilities? Can you change that?
No.
No, okay. Work at least 15 hours, no, you only, at least 15 hours per week will be prorated using a 40-hour work week. So if part-time employees work variable daily hours, the town will calculate a reasonable holiday compensation. So, right, if somebody
But what
works.
you wanted last week was 20 hours a week or more.
I did, I still do, but the
You're
board
gonna
didn't,
generate it.
the board, it can, I did talk to Caroline, that's not the issue. She said the issue is, they're gonna look at our personnel policy, and it has to be crystal clear what it is we wanna do.
Okay.
So I made sure that it was clear,
Mhm.
and I assume that this is what the board would like, is for us to do it on a prorated basis.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't say that yet.
Okay.
But yes, the paycheck says no trouble doing it. She says, you've gotta make sure the policy is correct, because they need the policy before they will start to keep track of their leave.
Okay.
And the policy wasn't clear enough.
And the policy, well, right, we're in the process of, right. All right, so that was that, so that clarifies vacation pay, holiday pay. Then under sick leave is a statement, there is no payout for accumulated sick leave upon termination. So when we meet with employees, we'll say, look, we know some of you have it already accumulated, we'll figure out with you how we will compensate. Either we'll put on the books till you leave, or we'll buy you out piecemeal across the years, depending on what it is.
Mhm.
So then it says, annual and sick leave benefits for part-time employees who are scheduled to work for at least 15 hours per week shall be computed on the basis of scheduled hours worked prorated to benefits of full-time employees. So that's clear, I think. No annual or sick leave benefits shall accrue to per diem employees, seasonal employees, or part-time employees who regularly work fewer than 15 hours per week. Okay? I think that could possibly be it. Yes, that's it.
Pardon me.
So given those changes, shall we start to disseminate?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll take the highlighting off, and,
Mhm.
so what, we should probably try to schedule at least, 1 or 2 times to meet with them.
Yep.
Shall I ask
Would be
Caroline
appropriate.
for, yeah,
Okay.
you know, like, just an open session, question and answer.
Like a workshop kind of thing?
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
it should be one at night and one during the day.
Yeah, something like that, so we catch them. So I'll ask Caroline what she recommends. Is you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll have her schedule something.
Yep.
Okay. Excellent. Won't that be good to have a
Yes.
policy, done?
Yes.
Yay.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks to all of us, but,
You take it off the agenda soon?
well, yeah, it's still gonna be another 4 to 6 weeks because we've gotta meet with the folks for whom this is important. Purchasing, I've picked up the pieces of this, I think I know where I left off, and so that's all I can say right now. I'm gonna continue to work on it. Snow removal, was there anything you wanted to say about that?
Yeah, I didn't do it yet, but I did the one below.
I saw that. So political signs, so Mike sent us, something to look at, which I did look at.
Like, I highlighted the yellow part just because it kind of contradicts itself. Am I reading that wrong? It says,
What you have highlighted.
I'm sorry, political, like, at the beginning.
Oh, was
it
that your
says-
highlight?
That was my highlight.
All right,
Political advertising may
Yeah, I'm
be
gonna
placed
try.
within the state's owned right-of-way as long as the advertising does not obstruct the safe flow of traffic, and the advertising is placed within the consent of the owner of the land over which the right-of-way passes.
Right.
Well, what does that do for the triangles?
It doesn't do
That is
anything
state.
because, so if someone owns property and the state has a right-of-way easement over that property, people are still able, we're not talking about the ditches, people are able to put up proper signs on their own property that the state has a right-of-way easement
Right.
over. So that you can't, they're allowed to do.
Right,
So we're just talking about the highway, the islands, the ditch line, I don't know.
So
town
nothing in it,
hall.
so I just wanted to make sure that the
Yeah.
islands don't include this and
No.
stuff like that,
No,
so.
Are you thinking,
it's
but
supposed to be
like,
on private property.
Like there's a right of way on everybody's yard that the town owns, and the city owns, and the state owns, depending on where you live.
so as long as it doesn't obstruct the flow of traffic, and you're the owner and you say it's okay,
Right.
it's okay.
So for instance, where, I think well, on Main Street, where people park, where the trees are, some trees, and there's some mostly cars. I think
I
that,
mean, by the railroad?
on the other side of Main Street. No,
It's in front of the houses.
in front of the houses.
Okay.
On that edge, I think that's what we're talking about, because
Yeah.
that's their property that they maintain, whereas the town's right of way, or in this case of the state's right of way, or the state road. So they can put a sign there if it's in front of their house, but it's also in part of the right of way, which is different than just on.
Completely public, like the circles,
Correct. Or,
Or the
um,
the
right
train
next to the
side.
fire station.
Correct.
yes.
it is a little confusing, yes, but.
So we could, when we,
So that leads me to, go ahead, what I was suggesting, two different
yes,
versions.
go ahead.
One is just simply, if I just
No,
in
please.
accordance with RSA 664:17, relative to political advertising, the select board would like to remind residents that no political advertising shall be placed or affixed to any public property, including highway rights of way or private property without the owner's consent. Or, you could write, the select board would like to, it seems to be more simpler, but, the select board would like to remind residents before the state elections that political advertising is not allowed on public property. For your convenience, the full statute is below. They can read it for themselves. There may be some confusion over the highlighted line, the sentence that you just read. I think what's important though, having the full statute, is that if there, for some reason, okay, Mike Rollo sticks up a dozen signs on, Main Street, in the public right of way. And then Jody Carnes goes and comes by and says, well, I'm running against him, I don't like that, I'm gonna take up his sign because they're illegal anyways, well, it's illegal for you to do that too.
Exactly.
So, and I think that's why it's probably important for everyone to have the whole statute, so they know, yes, it's not,
You're not allowed to.
the other person has done something
Signs.
wrong, but that doesn't make it, you're not allowed to, you're not a peace officer, you're not allowed to change that for them. The town, law enforcement, or maintenance personnel, is allowed to. Those are the only people that are allowed, or unless it's on your property, and, I mean, like, Salmay's house is notorious, people think it's her property, and they stick things up on part of that corner. Well, it's her property, she can yank it down if she wants to, you know?
I did that last winter.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Like I
So-
get Dover stuff on my yard.
yeah, right?
And I like the first paragraph, it's pretty clear, and then we could just include the RSA. I like including the RSA, whichever we do, right?
Yeah.
So, but I like the first one. So from a timing point of view, when should we, ask Tia to post this? And we just keep it and just send reminders over the next few elections, just to,
Tis the season.
I'm sorry,
I
to-
think now, we got 99 days.
okay.
We
All
can
right.
print it out and post it
So,
down
so
on the.
how does the board
post
feel about
office.
which, the first sentence with a reference to the RSA, or the,
Doesn't matter, like I said, I was just,
I like it, all right.
everyone you want to do,
Okay.
matter.
Perfect, so we'll get,
I wrote them back, both,
Yeah,
so I
thanks
don't,
for-
I mean, I don't care, it doesn't matter to me.
I think this will be an improvement.
When people start affixing signs to bridges, we saw it in the presidential primary,
Well, now we could feel empowered to just
and not
ask,
just small little
you know,
signs, but
ask
like
Jeff or
2x4s.
Chief Ducharme to remove them, right? Because the RSA allows us to do that.
If I carry it a little too far, so.
All right, that's wonderful, let's go on. Where are we?
Hardly for America, ruined it all.
There are no assessing issues. talk about compliance. So, we hope that, our building inspector slash code enforcement officer will be here tonight to talk about 18 Pinecrest. Did he mention it at all in his email?
He just said that he couldn't make it.
All right. So,
we apologize.
yeah, so the good news is that Mr. Wisnet's not here tonight, so we don't have to, try to offer some guidance that we probably don't have ourselves. So, let's wait for Tom then to talk to us about, lay out all the issues at hand and come up with a plan. Caroline just wants the board to know she really, really, really is working on trying to get the troops together to do the life safety thing at the boarding house. It's summer and people are here, there, and it's not falling together. And she's also continuing projects out of body, but we did send the letter to the paving, and she is doing an informal check on the other paving one that you brought up.
There's two, yes.
Yes,
There's
both Rollins
77
Road,
and
yes.
70.
So she's checking in with the second one as well. It's Bill Irving's. Bill is a friend, so she was just gonna give him a little, hey, Bill.
I thought it was his.
Yeah,
So,
apparently it is.
does he enroll?
No, she sent the letter we sent the other letter last week
Okay.
after this
So,
meeting.
the paving of his driveway isn't terribly big, so it might not.
It might not even.
be about $1,500, but it's the widening is where I think he has the problem.
Oh, that was
He
the
has to
issue,
deal
yes,
with division
yeah,
six.
that was it.
79. That's
79.
79 Rollins, and 77 did a paving. And I
The,
don't know
the
if
one
they're
that was,
both
the one that was on the
same
list for a while, we sent the letter for
Yeah.
that one last
Yeah.
week. The one that had been on the
Oh,
list,
that's a different issue. Which one was that one?
the one where they were paving out back or
Oh,
something.
79.
Yes.
We did send that one.
Oh,
Yeah, that got sent.
That, we
This
got,
is a
we
different
sent it
one.
last week,
ordinance. Yes, I know who you're talking
yeah,
about. Big red.
yeah. But then you, since then, you said, oh, by the way, there's something at,
Something happened
Yes.
last week.
so Caroline is on that case, it's Bill Irving's, and she's talking to him.
Can I just say one thing?
Please.
Do we have any say it's a state maintained as far as the width? I thought of that afterwards.
She's talking to him about the fact that it's a driveway in a state maintained road, so
It's
Okay.
division six is the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, so she's gonna, that's the context of which she's talking to him, or did talk to him. Goodness, are we
Keep
done?
going.
Board member activities and updates, okay,
Planning board's meeting tomorrow night,
Yes.
and historic committee's meeting Thursday night.
excellent, and you've
I'm
got,
meeting with Nancy at 2 o'clock tomorrow.
now, this is about the truck, right? So this is a special meeting to
This
review?
sounds like a special meeting with us and Northwood, that was here last
Northwood,
week.
Northwood,
And the 5 towns that still use trucking are supposed to be there.
okay. So
So-
do we have anything that we'd like Jody to watch on our behalf? I think having Jeff go would have been a really, really, really good idea.
I know.
Of all the times that he comes.
That's okay though. Cause, me and Joe have been going through, well, us and Joe have been going through the same thing. So it's
Is Joe the
really,
Northwood guy?
yes,
Okay.
so it's really the same conversation for
Mhm.
both towns.
Okay,
So being able to discuss it with the 5 towns that do trucking,
mhm.
we might be able to get a better understanding of what we need or want from them, and
Mhm.
hopefully get some numbers.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay. All right, well, what time tomorrow?
2 o'clock,
Right.
At,
Madbury Town Hall,
all right, we'll have a good meeting.
thank you. And then I was in today, starting on the Home Depot spreadsheet.
Yes,
So I
yep.
started on that today. We had 4 overdraft charges this year,
What does that mean?
meaning we didn't pay the credit card on time. We get charged $35 each time.
Yep,
So, I don't know why that happened, but
well,
last year we didn't.
sometimes I won't sign it because there's a question about something on the bill.
Okay,
And so while we're trying to figure it out,
meets, it passes that 2-week deadline.
yeah, yeah.
The other thing was, just trying to piece what we could send, what we could have shipped here. Like, they've been buying like toilet paper and Windex and stuff like that this year. They didn't buy any of that last year. So I don't know where they were getting the toilet paper from last year, but,
Who's the they in this case? This?
Jeff and his
This
crew
crew?
in this building. So those are the only two people that have the credit cards, so,
Okay,
or the credit card for
Yeah.
people. So I don't know where they got the toilet paper last year, but there was a Home Depot.
interesting.
So I was just trying to cross-reference and see like, can we buy in bulk for the year and have it stored and, cause
You
they're
know-
making 7 trips in
Yeah,
2
I
months.
absolutely agree.
So the gas and mileage and
And time,
time, like, I timed it out, it takes over half hour.
yeah. So the other thing that Caroline mentioned relative to this is that if we ever get town credit cards, if that were ever in my lifetime to come to pass, it opens up opportunities for like Amazon, as well as, you know, like WB Mason
Right.
and stuff like that. So it just provides additional opportunities for us to take advantage of some price discounts that we can't currently and would be better than sending folks off. So thank you for taking that on. Oh, this needs to be stamped?
I'm missing, sorry.
I mean, there's a thingy?
Yeah.
There's a thingy.
There's a
You know,
thingy.
and I know you know what I mean.
Yep,
That's all of it.
For the public, I believe it's
septic.
septic, thank you.
Got it.
And I'll go in the other room and get it later.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so that's your report on the
Yeah, I'll work on that some more, but that's what I
Okay.
found out today. so.
stormwater is meeting again this week, on Thursday. So we're actually working on the notice of intent or the plan that we, you know, so it will be somewhat ready when we hear from the state that we've got to reply. Paul Casalt, I keep forgetting how he pronounces his name. He's done a lot of research, I'm delighted. And so he's found that in fact, it's not just the Salmon Falls River that is an impaired waterway within our town, but also Rollins Brook and Fresh Creek. And apparently I don't know, I'll know more after Thursday's meeting, but he talked about E. coli testing. That, not that we did, because the testing we did was okay, so
Yeah.
I'll know more, but anyway, I'm just, not that, I don't wanna say I'm delighted, but I mean, I'm happy that somebody is
Yeah.
taking that kind of initiative to help with this. I'm not happy to know that,
Right.
you know, we've got 3 impaired waterways that we have to be careful about.
Mhm.
So we're meeting on Thursday as well, that's that report. And I'm meeting with Caroline on Friday to start pulling together some of the data that she's been amassing on the transfer station. And so we'll be looking forward to hearing.
Okay.
All right, so we're good with activities then?
Mm.
All right, and now it's building permits.
Mhm.
Can I get my stamp while you're looking?
Please.
Yeah, I can say that's a good idea, he's making funny noises over there. All right, that's our friend.
I'm trying to figure this out.
Is this the Silver Street?
Yeah,
I thought he owned it.
there is a house there already, there's only room for one house there because it's only one lot.
Yes,
It has not been subdivided.
correct.
I was looking for a building permit today.
A particular one?
Because a certificate of occupancy was issued,
Yeah.
but I couldn't find any record of the building permit having been paid or processed or.
So, you know, when you jump into something, you know, I think what I'm trying to say is we may not have a really complete feedback loop here in a process, so let's remind Tom that before he okays an occupancy permit, we should make sure we have the building permit. Do you remember, do you know what it is?
It's now 464. I think it was 016 for the permit, but
New house on Silver Street?
yeah,
We have a building permit for that.
this,
Oh.
Well, there,
where is it?
I don't know, because I don't know which house on Silver Street, so I'm gonna stay out of
What are we
it.
talking about?
That's
We signed an
salty
occupancy
sea.
person, is that the one
Yeah.
we signed?
Yeah,
Oh, it was this,
yes,
He already had a building permit.
he did have a
I
building
know,
permit.
but where is that? And I don't see any record that it's been paid, and I could not find it.
That I don't know.
You know, we signed it and stamped it.
It was
Okay,
definitely,
we'll check, and I'll make some reference about
I
lessons and
wrote
that sort of
on
stuff.
a note
You did.
to ask where.
Email or
where-
just,
No, sticky on there.
okay.
this needs to go to Mr. It appears that, remember, recall a while back, we had an application for, septic system on Silver Street, and there was some concern that it was, a lot, we thought it was the lot you were talking about.
Yeah, right, but it turned out not, it was somewhere else,
On the other side of the street, down the street from it, there were 3 buildable lots there.
okay.
It would appear that the same gentleman that bought the lot next to the town hall is now building on those lots too. He must have bought them.
Oh, I see, okay, so this is a different,
It's new construction, needs to go to Mr.
okay, Clark.
Sorry, why is this not?
All right,
Do you need to run it?
Not finished. I'll go. It came with one. It was being difficult, we have a number of them here. Some of them are ones we can deal with, some of them Mr. Clark needs to do.
so did this come directly from the front office, do you think?
Must have,
Yeah, we can just figure out some way to get them into Tom's hand sooner if that's possible.
yeah. Yep. Okay, so the first, that was, I'm sorry, permit 2016-114, sound like.
And we're
There's all
referring
sorts
it
of weird
to-
things here tonight.
To Tom Clark, because he's not seen it yet.
And there's correspondence
And what's
in
the
here for some reason.
address?
It doesn't have one. It has, it's map and lot number 14-16-3. There's a vacant lot at the moment without a number. And so the next one, excuse me, is permit number 2016-097, 640 Main Street. For paving.
So that's not next door.
No, it's Paul's Integrity.
Oh, Paul's Integrity,
Boulevard
yes,
has gotten a building permit.
post hoc,
Hmm.
Yeah.
but at least we have it.
It's, Paul's Road.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need all of this stuff in here. So anyways, so we do it for end of the year like we do all of them, but it's already been done.
Mm-hmm.
$125 fees now. Mr. Clark, I think you said.
What is it?
So the next one is 2016-119, 4 Nordic Lane. It's, they're installing a boiler. The fee will be $105. Next is permit 2016-117, 416 4th Street. Remodeling their kitchen.
Shall we, send it to Tom?
Yeah. Things like boilers and things like that, I think we can do, but this one I think we should do. This one's new HVAC system for the whole house, all that, so. And we have permit number 2016-115-529 Silver Street. This one, so replacing part of a roof. $95 permit.
I'll see that we've made progress.
Pardon?
I believe that was the contractor who said, what, you need a permit for a roof?
Yeah,
Yes, that's what I mean,
yeah,
so,
he's new in town. Anyway, so the check is actually $495, so I signed it, they actually figured it out the right way, it makes me happy, we rounded up a little bit. And that's all I have for building permits, but a whole host of things in here, from the door real quick. Andrea has, as requested, I have researched the viability of continued mailing the inventory of taxable property. The time required to label, fold, stamp, collect, and enter information in assessing is 50 to 60 hours. Cost, labels 50, stamps $5.39. So it says, out of the 237 New Hampshire cities and towns, 46 are currently still using the form. With regards to revenue, below is what has been generated in penalties over the last 5 years. Last year was $11,755. The year before that was $10,005. Year before that, $9,200. Year before that, $7,000. Year before that, $7,200. And the year before that, $6,000. So I would say, probably still in our
balance
best
sheet
interest
is
to do it.
still, yeah, balance sheet still says to do it.
So I'm gonna let you write, please move forward with the, oh, we just sent the letter and then we can sign it.
Do you wanna sign that too? You
I'm good.
convinced?
I'm good.
There's a letter that Jody has in her folder, I think, though, that we need to sign for the state.
Yes, we do, to get there, yeah, and we have to have it done before August.
Well, I'm just saying, so we should follow.
I mean,
through with that.
before August,
We'll be
such,
fine.
such and such.
For all of our waste disposal needs, we should be aware that on August 27th, which is a Saturday, from 8:30 to 12:30 at the Dover Community Services Garage at 271 Mass Road, Rollinsford residents are encouraged to bring their household hazardous waste collection day. Proof of residency is required, and there's a whole list of things that you should be bringing to this. You shouldn't bring, they want me to make sure to read this, no explosives, asbestos, or latex paints.
No latex, huh?
No explosives. Absolutely no antifreeze or oil, new or used. No businesses, residents only, we should probably post that at the town hall.
Yeah, so let's have, should we have Tina scan this and have somebody put this, you have one too?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So.
Apparently they didn't want us to miss it, so.
Scan and post to the website. And other usual places.
And for our review, we need to make sure we return this to the town clerk, please. Thank you. There's a permit that has been granted by the Department of Environmental Services for a temporary groundwater discharge by the Rollinsford Water and Sewer District. I'm sure you'd like to.
So this, I think, is related to the fact that they're putting in a new well
Yeah.
on General John.
General John.
So, this is just for us to see, they've filed it with the town clerk, there's nothing for us to sign. But if the board has any questions or concerns, I guess now would be the time to, yes, now would be the time to say something. So, I don't
know that I should have concerns, should we?
I don't know either, not saying we should, I'm just, when something comes our way, there's always a question of, okay,
There's a reason they sent it to us.
yeah, they want us to, we're not the property owner. We are. But nobody's asked us to sign anything, so I think this is just an FYI. And if we can think of anything, we should send it along, but I have no questions. They need the well, and they've got that spot to do it. Jody, do you have anything?
Lots of stuff.
Right, but you don't have any?
Oh, no,
Okay, so we'll return that, thank you.
sorry.
No worries.
I'm sure I'm still trying to look for your paper for the state for the RSA one.
Oh, the
I
one,
believe this is it.
okay. Yeah, let's have Andrew review again. Okay, so I will be using, so our response is will be. Number of forms needed, we'll ask Andrew to fill that out. I cannot write. I'm just gonna let it go, she can ask. So I think we all signed this, looks like. Contact person. Caroline?
Sure.
Andrew.
Okay.
So Andrew's the contact person.
Yes. And our phone number is 603-742-2510.
2510.
Thank you.
Happy to help when I can.
I'll ask all of the assessing officials to sign, please. I also put something in there that I had brought home to look at. Maybe it was on top. Had a little note, what the heck was it? I scanned it, and, oh, I know what it was. It was the planning board. Here, why don't you sign this? So the town, because we're in a butter to Paul's integrity, with our little lot on the other side, I guess, so we got a notice, and I scanned it and sent it along to Arch, at least Lucy Putnam. But the board is going to discuss tomorrow night relieving Paul's integrity of putting in the side fencing per the request of the Pattersons who live across the way. And the board was happy to sort of acquiesce, so my only point in bringing this up is that it is on their agenda tomorrow night, and I just scanned the fact that our notice and sent it off to Arch in case they wanted to attend.
Which that was.
It just didn't go to them directly,
Okay.
so I sent it.
Alright, so that's the revenue we just did.
Yeah.
The same environmental letter I
Yeah.
have right
Okay.
here. And this Wax Bank is very happy that we have a general manager. A general manager
might
of
that
town of
be?
Rollinsford. Your fleet card terms are changing.
We don't have any fleet card.
I know.
Do we not?
Your
Didn't we have a fleet card for the police for the?
Oh, is
remember
Wex,
when we-
is
I
that,
don't know.
is that Mr.
Oh, that
Marks?
must be.
It could be.
Oh,
Could be,
okay.
so we might wanna,
All right, so your fleet card terms are changing.
Well, they're happy that we have a general manager.
There will be an increase in the following fee. The finance charge, formerly referred to as the late fee, will be the greater of $75 or 2.99% of the balance due.
Hmm.
Here, I'll just ask Caroline, do we ever
is this,
incur?
I would say, is that actually Mr. Marks? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or did we might not have, did we ever actually get a fleet card? I don't remember.
Yeah,
They
they
did,
used
they
to
get,
get it.
Give them to
they
us?
get a lower rate than the state was giving.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So,
And the fire department
Where did we
too.
got the fleet
Have you
price
been
from?
seeing
Never
your
invoiced.
invoices to sign for that one? It doesn't say Mr. Mike's on
no, I just didn't recognize it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure I have, and I'm sure I've asked questions.
it. Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember seeing any late charges.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I see sometimes statement billing, and so it refers back to, it includes a past due, and so the total at the end is more than than the current charges.
Right.
So for those, I generally just put an asterisk on the current charges, and that's what I'm authorizing.
Right.
Just so we don't do a duplicate billing and stuff.
Mhm. So the workers' compensation law that we asked them to post last week, we did not sign.
So they did not
So
post it, did
They
they?
did not post it, they
Okay,
asked us to
shall we
sign.
sign it this week?
Sure.
Okay, very good.
Probably a good idea.
Okay. Okay. Next one is a purchase order for York Ambulance.
Oh, there it is.
Purchase order 803 to York Ambulance for annual contract disbursement of $32,000.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
At least it's, you know, we knew it was coming. I was surprised that we hadn't paid anything as of for June.
Oh,
You know, when I did the budget, he usually come twice a year. Yeah, but,
split in half.
yeah,
Yeah.
they don't do, well, their cash flow is probably not as difficult. South Berwick, they were in a terrible
Yeah, that's.
cash flow bind, at least the time that I started on the board. So I think that was, they were trying to do that in order to help.
That's why it didn't work.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, the junkyard motor vehicle license that we asked, to let Tom look at is still. So I just wanna make sure, I'll put that at the top of the pile, so she
Oh,
sees
yeah.
that, cause it's in the
Yeah.
pile of list of
Yeah,
file.
that needs to be.
Yeah, that needs to,
So that needs to be done.
Yes.
This is the to be filed column,
okay,
so.
yeah, good idea.
I'll put that
Here, I'll
at the
make a
top.
note too.
What was that?
The junkyard license renewal, we had asked Tom Clark to review it, but in the folder, it's in the to be filed
Yeah.
column, so I wanna make sure she sees that first thing. This is the board's copy of legal. So,
Oh, so this is what Caroline sent legal on our behalf when they were looking for maps and
Right,
dates.
right, right.
So if you wanna, so it's just an FYI, so if you wanna take a look at what she sent, we can have her file it
The rest of that's
with
on.
that endeavor.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Is this the pile? I should put it this way.
Two, didn't you, maybe? No?
It says
Yeah,
board
copies.
copy, so
No,
we'll just
maybe
try to
not.
file it.
Okay.
okay, and I believe this is from last week as well. This is to say, that Jeff is in the retirement system. Is there something we forgot to sign?
You can follow that, everything down there.
Nope.
Okay, just put it in the file.
Good. Last week's to be filed for,
Oh, yeah, the New Hampshire
Public
Public
Deposit.
Deposit Investment Fund, a little riddle. Just have her file it. And those are just
that's
files too,
it.
that was, yeah, okay.
So everything is just, needs to be filed.
So that's, I'm sorry.
That's okay. The septic design was for, a Chingford property, on Church Street, tax map.
Church,
Well,
Isn't
it's
it
a
Wentworth?
subdivision name, they called it Church Street,
oh, subdivision, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
so.
yeah, okay.
Tax map 2N lot 18-9, on their check, they actually wrote, it's for their lot, how they lotted their numbers is lot 6. So, those are just septic designs.
2N?
2N, we have an N, we have a 2 and a 2N. So, that is it for our folder. That's it,
That's it?
that's it. Everything else
Oh,
was
that's
filed.
16. Is there any community input? Salman?
On the, with the camp, with the children walking,
Yes.
what we did at Woodman Park is instituted that a call policy, so either the parents call and let them know not to expect the child. And then if the child does not show and they haven't received notice, the people would call.
All right,
The parent.
I think I don't really get the whole thing. So for kids who are walking,
Right,
okay, so with the kids who are walking, what, can you start it again?
Okay.
Maybe I think
all
I missed
right,
something.
so they are expected to attend.
Yeah.
If they don't show up,
Oh, yeah,
then the rec program would call the parents and say,
okay.
your child is not
I
here.
like, we like that idea? As an additional
It's incumbent
sort
upon
of,
the parent to call and say, look, my kid's not gonna be there.
yeah.
So well, it is a very good suggestion, but then we need to realize who's gonna take the call. I mean, I get that, there are logistics that the rec department, some of the rec folks would need to figure out, I guess, on their own. And there are,
Well, are we thinking that they don't have a, they
where
must
are they
have a
calling
note,
now?
yeah, they must have a, the parent must have left them a way to notify them if something happens,
yeah.
right? So that, isn't that the
But how
number,
does the
that's,
parent call in? Do they call through phone?
I would think the parent would call the director's phone. We don't have that many students there. I mean, so you get.
I thought it was the other way.
Yeah, so the parent would call, my kid's not gonna be at summer rec today.
Oh,
If they don't call and the kid doesn't show up,
right, right.
then the next thing would be the director calls the parent. I would just, yeah, they could just call the director's cell phone.
Yeah.
Or whatever, yeah.
I would do that,
Well, she told me there's 112 kids that are registered.
yes.
But not all of them,
So 30 of them or 40 of them show up in a day.
Mm.
So,
I
But
see.
you'd have an expected amount.
yeah, but I think what Jody's saying,
She's
wait
gonna
a minute,
120
hold on,
kids,
let's-
130
let's
a
think
day
about
show
the
up.
practicality of
All
this.
Yeah, there's
Yeah. I see
90
what you're
calls.
saying. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna,
because they may,
yeah, it is, you're,
like, that is
I mean, it's
great for-
illustrative, I mean, it's good for us to becoming aware of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe next year they could have an answering machine or voicemail.
I think there are probably gonna be bigger questions even,
Yeah.
bigger, really bigger questions about, you know, in this climate today, are we really able to mount a rec program that has sort of some of the more basic safety and attendance kinds of characteristics that this day and age has led us to need to put in place. I mean, the school has very stringent ones, and because they're dealing with children. Tamara?
Has rec provided you with daily attendance? Because although that many students sign up, I know that the couple of years that I had kids participating, some days there were as little as 8 or 9 kids that would come on a given day. And there'd be more kids working than the kids that came to rec. So that was a few years ago, and I don't know how the program has evolved. I know when it began, it was a lot more heavily attended, and I do believe that for a lot of people in town, the idea of having a place for their kids to be during the day while they're at work is a great idea. But I think that the keeping track of actual data and information and monitoring and assessing what's going on has really not been kept up with very well. And so we don't really have any way to make an educated decision about this.
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about this whole like walking thing, because I think we've become like psychotic in our concern when crime is actually lower now than it was when I was 10 years old and didn't see my parents from 6 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. I mean, we ran wild, right? I mean, that's how it was.
That's what we did.
So,
Come home for dinner.
so I think that whole village component of what rec is too, I mean, it goes to the whole thing about what goes on in inner cities where we have programs that kids have accessibility to keep them out of trouble doing other things. That includes a certain amount of mobility and freedom to move in and out of that as an option. So it's really complicated, I think. I think the legal side of what you're liable for on that aspect needs to be researched, but I also think that as a member of the community, I would really like to see some concrete data about who is actually using the program.
Just anecdotally, I mean, Jody was there last Monday, so how many children did you
There was
report?
probably about 30 or so there when I was there.
Which I think is sort of, if I remember Kayla saying, is kind of like
Yeah.
what they've been seeing. I don't know whether I asked or maybe you asked her that.
But you know, here's the thing, like, I do this with businesses now for a living. It's not that hard to make a little form that we fill out every day and keep track. I mean, I don't understand why this is such a complex problem to, I mean, even over these last 3 weeks, we could say, you know, we're gonna keep track of this.
They know, they do know that, they know that.
They do have a check-in and check-out process. When, like we said last week, they see Bill or Johnny come in and they check them in that they're here, and then they check them out when they leave. But in the lunchtime period, some kids are allowed to leave and go home and come back. Who's liable for them if they fall and break their leg on their way home? Who's gonna help them?
I think it's in the form of the town's not, I think I saw that. The town's not responsible if you give your child permission to come and go, I think, so.
Well, if my kid rides his bike over to play at the school and rides back, who's liable? I mean, he's on town property and he's not in rec. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, at a certain point, you gotta, I mean, we gotta really get like a concrete, specific answer, and then we have to, you know, open the cage and let them fly maybe a little bit.
So I think we will have attendance data, because they've been keeping attendance data. Now, have they been providing it to the board? Has the board even asked over the last few years? No. I think the board has, you know, I don't wanna say, you know, the board did not micromanage, okay, and was happy not to micromanage. You know, the board has limited capacity, you know, we have a capacity level to deal with certain kinds of things. And so the rec program had never risen up in, you know, until this year, as far as, maybe we ought to pay attention.
It could have been previous years, but at least in the time the three of us have been
Right,
sitting here.
so we haven't been privy to that, and so now we are, and so now we're kind of stepping in, and I know that even the summer rec folks are starting to think about, well, what kind of program really should the town do in this day and age? Can the town afford it? Are there other ways to try to help provide that kind of recreation to the children? So we're expecting to, you know, to have a conversation. I think they're gonna meet first, and then we're expected to have a conversation with them at some point.
I would just request that whatever that conversation involves with either or group, that we notify the public so that people can have the opportunity to participate in the conversation and come and hear. Because
That's a very good point.
I do believe that sometimes those things happen with a very limited amount of input, and then we don't really get a full picture.
Mhm.
And decisions get made based on a very small group of people that
Mhm.
don't really represent the whole.
Yeah,
So.
very good point. Thank you.
Let her go.
Okay.
Along the lines of summer rec, is there any requirement as to one of the advisors or one of the staff, is there any verification as to how many kids per staff?
Are you saying does summer rec have, Jody, did you find out anything to that?
We asked for that that was one of our requests that we made last week, because they weren't assigned to a specific child, they weren't assigned in specific groups, and they weren't assigned by specific ages. So one of our requests was that a counselor or staff be assigned a certain select kids that day, so they can do a head count and make sure that those
Periodically.
5 are accounted for during the day.
I think where I'm going with that is that
Is that what you mean?
if there's 30 kids there, how much staff do they need?
Yeah, what's the
Jody knows the
ratio?
ratio. You
That's what I'm
computed the
talking,
ratio.
ratios.
Yeah, it was, she said 112 were in it, and it worked out with all the staff members, it worked out. If all the staff was there and all the kids were there, it would have been a 9-to-1 ratio. So when they're
9
not all
kids per
there.
staff.
Okay,
So let me.
so when they're all not there, is all the staff still there?
I do not know that.
That's about 10 staff. So if you have 30 kids and 10 staff,
That's three,
That's a lot of staff.
yes.
I mean, you can see that there are some legitimate questions that.
That was my point.
For us
If we're
all
only
to
got-
kind of think about, for the board to think about. Yeah. My guess is that probably, that counselors don't show up either, but nonetheless, is there the occasion where perhaps there are more counselors than need to be there too? Seems plausible.
I mean, because when Jody went in, there were two of the staff members with no children sitting at the picnic table, not attending any children, and getting paid to be sitting there.
It might have been
Yes,
planned.
I think we are all in agreement that a solid review should take place. No, there's no doubt about it. Thank you.
Yeah. So I just want to make a comment that the rec committee did meet back several months ago, and I asked about the summer rec because I'm on the rec committee, and I was told that's a subcommittee. So for all of those public committee members or public members out watching this, I want them to know that not all the rec committee members are on the summer rec, and that we are a resource for those people if they so choose it.
I would, yes. I think that there's still a pretty unclear understanding of the pieces of rec. And I think that a suggestion that I had made early on, which was really just a suggestion, has been maybe processed by people differently. And so I think there are folks with different expectations and different motivations. And so, I mean, it would be helpful, I think, for all of us to at least start with a review here. I very much agree with Tamara's comment that, if we decide to do something, that is opened up to a broader group of folks so that we can get more input from the community that both uses it and the community that also is paying some of the bills. So, so everybody has a chance to kind of see. I mean, providing opportunities for our children is an important thing, but we need to make sure that we can do it in a good way. So we'll be looking at that. Anything else?
I have another question. The letter you said you sent to Arch, was that mailed last week or sent
I
over?
scanned it today,
Okay,
sent it to Lucy.
okay, because they're meeting tonight also.
Oh, well, maybe she got it. That would be nice, that would be like serendipitous.
So,
But we only got it today. I apologize for the late notice, but we only got it today, and Caroline said, well, Art should probably know about it. We're the property owners, but they live there a lot, so I said, sure, no harm. I scanned it and sent it along to them.
so, yeah.
Okay, good. Anything else? Oh, goodness me. What do you say, board?
Motion adjourned.
Okay,
By consensus.
by consensus, we are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.